Hey guys, this is part 2 of the FE exam calculator video. So if you haven't checked out the first video, I'll be leaving a link in the upper right corner. In this video, I'll be going over 3 problems. I'll also have them timestamped in the description. Let's get on to the first problem now. For problem 1, we need to find the area between two functions. We have the question, what is the region bounded by the curve f of x is equal to x times the square root of x plus 1, and the straight line g of x is equal to 4x. First of all, we need to find the points where the two functions intersect each other. And we can do that by equating the two functions equal to each other. So f of x is equal to g of x. And now substituting in the values and simplifying the equations we get. And now I want to turn this into a polynomial equation. And you'll see just in a second why. And I can do this by squaring both sides. So we can distribute the x squared into the parentheses. So therefore we know that x is equal to 0 and 15. Now that we have the points where the two functions intersect, we can plug this into the calculator. Before I show you how to solve the integrals, first I actually want to show you how to solve the polynomials. We go to Second, Polynomial Solver. The reason why we turn this into a polynomial is because in the calculator we can solve for the second and third degree polynomials. Since we have x to the third power as our polynomial, we're going to enter 2. So our a value is 1. Our b value is minus 15. Our c value is 0. Our d value is also 0. Once we hit solve, it's going to calculate the values for x. So our first x value is 0. Our second x value is 15. Even though we only have a simple equation, I wanted to show you guys this method in case you have more complex equations. For us, it was just a way to verify the solutions for the x values. So now I'm going to press second quit and solve for the integral. Second integral. Now we have to put the limits which we solved for. Now we just have to subtract the two functions to get the area bounded by the curves. In this case it would be g of x minus f of x, because when you graph it, g of x would be the upper function. I'm going to place both of the functions in parentheses and subtract them. G of x would be 4x. Minus f of x, which is equal to x times the square root of x plus 1. And we can now solve this integral. So the area between the two functions is 82.8. For the second problem, we have the following question. What is the dot product and cross product of the following vectors? We have two vectors. The vector u is equal to minus 6i plus 2j minus 2k, and vector v, which is equal to minus 4i plus 1j plus 3k. So for the first step, we need to store the values for the vectors. We can do that by going into second vectors. And now I'm going to edit vector u. I can do that by going into edit and pressing 1. This is a 3-dimensional vector because we have 3 components. And now I can input the values for vector u. After I stored the values for vector u, I'm going to press second quit. I'm going to do the same thing for vector v. Here we press 2 to enter the values for vector v. And this is also a 3-dimensional vector because we have 3 components. Now I can enter the values for vector v. So after I store the values for vector u and vector v, I'm going to once again go to vectors. Now that we have the values stored in vector u and vector v, we can use the dot product and cross product. We can do that by going into second vectors, scrolling over to math, pressing 1 for the dot product, and now entering vector u dot vector v. Pressing 1 for the first vector, comma, finally the second vector, by pressing 2. And now closing off the dot product and hitting enter. So there you go, the dot product of vector u and vector v is 20. And we know this is correct because a dot product is scalar. Now we can take the cross product. We can do that by pressing second quit and then going over to vectors. We're going to scroll over to math again, and this time entering 2 for the cross product. Again, we need to input vector u and vector v. And finally vector v. So the cross product of vector u cross vector v is 8i, 26j, and 2k. For problem 3, we have 6 coins are tossed simultaneously. What is the probability that 3 tails or 4 tails will be thrown exactly? So for the problem, we need to assume that these are fair coins, meaning that there's a 50% chance of it landing on heads and 50% chance of it landing on tails. We also need to use a combination formula because order doesn't matter here. Just for your knowledge, the combination formula is so n represents the total number of items, R represents the number of items being chosen at a time. We also need to use the probability equation, because the probability of getting 3 tails or 4 tails are mutually exclusive, meaning they can't occur at the same time. So the probability of addition is equal to now we just need to specify some variables. So in this case, n would be the number of coins, which is 6, and r would be 3 or 4. So now that we have our variables, we can plug this into the calculator. In order to use a combination function, first we need to enter the value for n, which is 6. Then we can enter the combination function. The first time you enter the button, it's going to give you the exclamation mark, so you need to press it 2 times to get the combination function. Next, you need to input the r value. We can enter 3. It gives you a combination of 20. The probability for 3 tails would be equal to the combination over the total number of possible outcomes. So it would be equal to the combination of 20 over the total number of possible outcomes, which is 2 to the 6. So this is our probability for 3 tails being thrown exactly when 6 coins are tossed. Now we can find the combination for the 4 tails. We first need to enter 6, hit the combination button 2 times, and then press 4. So it gives you a combination of 15, for 4 tails being exactly thrown when 6 coins are tossed simultaneously. So 15 over 2 to the 6th, minus the probability of both occurring at the same time, which is 0. So 2 to the 6th is equal to $64. So the probability of either 3 tails or 4 tails will be thrown exactly is equal to 35 out of 64, or 54.69%. Alright guys, that's it for today's video. If you found this video to be helpful, be sure to leave a like, and if you have any questions, let me know in the comments below. Thank you for listening, and I'll see you next time.